Hi everyone, my name is John. Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday I made a community tabs post in which I said that I was going to the beach for about a week and a half or 2 weeks and that I wanted to make a video the next day, which is today, about the books that I was going to take with me. And that's what I wanted to do, just spend a few minutes doing that. All of these books are pretty short. Whenever I leave the house for any extended period of time, I can't really get into long books, especially when I have people around me asking me to do things and pulling me away from reading time. Sort of stops me from getting absorbed. So I like to bring books that I can just finish off in a day or two or three instead. Let me just show you what they are. There's just 5 of them. And some of them are for Historathon, an event I'm co-hosting. Some of them are just for fun. I think there's one piece of fiction in here. But the first thing I want to bring is something I've wanted to read forever, and it's definitely Historathon appropriate. It is Bede's Ecclesiastical History of the English People. He wrote this around 731, just a few years before he died in 735, I think. And it's just a history of England from the Roman occupation through his present day, and focuses on political history, the biographies of kings and saints and missionaries, with an emphasis on the development of the early Anglo-Saxon church, just like you would expect from the title. Told in a lot of very short mini chapters, as you can tell there. So this is my big sort of, history Q2. Yeah, early Q2 at least. So I've gotten quite a few books from university presses lately too, and this is one I've already shown in another video, so I won't talk too much about it. This is a short, like all of these are, biography of Arthur Schopenhauer. The subtitle there being The Life and Thought of Philosophy's Greatest Pessimist by David Bather Woods. And this is from the University of Chicago. And I think this is just an intellectual biography. Sort of spells out his childhood, his life, but also talks about his ideas too. Of course, he's most known for a book called The World is Will and Representation, which, as a philosophy student 25 years ago, I had to read small pieces of, but have never read in any sort of systematic way. But always a looming 19th century figure that I've wanted to learn more about. And I also showed this. I'm sort of obsessed with these books. These are made by Reaction Books, which are distributed by the University of Chicago Press. And the color plates in them are just extraordinary. These are, well, let me show you what it is first. This is a little biography, artistic history of Domenico Ghirlandaio. And the subtitle there is An Elite Artist and His World by Jean K. Cadigan. And again, very short, around 200 pages, hardcover, naked hardcover, and the inside here is just glossy, thick pages. I love this stuff so much. And the thing about it is of course the 200 pages. I'll just get you one more example. The 200 pages includes all of the colored plates, so this is probably more like 150 pages, really. So, an afternoon's worth of reading for me. Next is something I've actually already started because I was itching to start something new. And this is from Princeton University Press, which I haven't showed you yet because it's actually part of these sets of books that they have sent me, which I'll have something to say about at the end of this video. But this is by Stephen Nadler, whose name you might recognize as sort of a philosophy popularizer. He's written a couple of other books on Spinoza, and I think either is coming out with soon or has recently come out with a sort of full-on biography of Spinoza. And I'm already about 2/3 of the way through this. It's about 200 pages long, and it is a book-length argument about how Stephen Nadler thinks Spinoza was, in his own day, accused of being an atheist. About 100 years after he died, he began to be known as a pantheist, and Spinozistic pantheism is kind of still a philosophical vocabulary term, but Nadler wants to argue that he really is an atheist. Not so much that he said God didn't exist or denied God's existence, but that he emptied the word God of any kind of transcendental or sacral connotations, so that for all intents and purposes, for most people who would associate themselves with the Abrahamic traditions of belief, that he is basically an atheist. That is kind of the argument that I'm picking up from the book. But I have about 60 or 70 more pages to go. And of course, like everything, I will review this when I get done. So this is Stephen Nadler's Spinoza, Atheist. And last, that book of fiction that I was talking about. I've only read a couple of short stories by this author before. Someone else who died far too young. This is The Garden Party and Other Stories by Catherine Mansfield. Catherine Mansfield is from New Zealand. She was an early important modernist short story writer, sometimes compared to people like Chekhov, because she has a deep sense of interiority. She portrays characters very compassionately. They're often very quiet, non-plot driven stories. So something that I would like to read on vacation. And there are 15 stories in here in about 150 pages or so. So they're very short. You can read them in much less than a sitting. So that rounds out the books that I'm going to take with me tomorrow. And I'll see if I can get anything else recorded for you tonight. But just in case I don't, some other things that are going to be coming up on this channel once I get back. I've been negligent for the past few weeks of posting reviews to this channel, but over the past week to 10 days, I've been writing a lot of reviews on my Goodreads page, which I always come over here on the YouTube channel and post. So look for more of those. I also have a sort of historathon-related video I want to make about my favorite podcasts, most of which are history-related podcasts, but not all of them. So a video about my 6, 8, 10 different podcasts, favorite podcasts. When I come back, I will also have, even though my birthday isn't until July, I will have my birthday book haul, because as you can probably tell, it was from a university press publisher, and two of my favorites had sales during the month of May. So I wanted to make sure and get what I wanted and not have to pay twice as much as I would have paid otherwise. And last but not least, to go back to what I mentioned earlier, those two gigantic piles of books, probably enough for 2 videos actually. Those are books from the University of Chicago Press and Princeton University Press that they have sent me gratis that I would like to talk about and review in the near future. A lot of these are shorter books, and I would like to spend some of the rest of the year just going through them. They send me a lot of books that sometimes I don't always have as much time as I'd like to get around to reading and talking about more in depth on the channel instead of just showing. So I'd like to spend more time doing that, but probably at least 1 video's worth here, and maybe another one in a couple of months or so. But look forward to that if you're interested in what's coming up, and I will see you soon.